Hello, everyone. Welcome to Abnormal Investigations. I hope everybody's doing all right tonight. I decided to go live and to share this information with you, what I had tonight. I thought about making a video out of it, and I got to thinking about it, and I thought, you know what? We'll just go on and do it as a live. So that's what I ended up doing just last minute. So we're going to go on and we're going to talk about the investigation that a lady asked me to look into. But before we get into that, I've got Mr. Randy here with me tonight, so I'm going to bring him in before we do the announcements and everything before the show. Whenever Randy's ready, I'll make sure he's ready to come on stage. We got a pretty good investigation for y'all tonight. I think you're going to really, really enjoy it. We'll do a little bit of a roll call here real quick while Randy gets his stuff set up. Scared Silly, good to see you. Randy's in here. Lisa is here. Scared Silly. Keith Blunt's here. Good to see you, Keith. Looks like we got a few people coming on in. Randy, just give me a thumbs up whenever you're ready. No hurry. All right, Randy is ready. What's going on?
Beautiful day. Radio check. Can you guys hear me clearly? Radio check.
I can hear
Can you
you.
hear me?
It's a hot. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, we are up and
Yeah.
rolling. We got a little bit of a lag, but I think we'll be okay.
Wait till next week. It's going to be even hotter. It's going to be so hot
Yeah, I'm
next
not
week.
looking forward to that.
You'll be able to cook an egg on the sidewalk. I'm not kidding. Put your frying pan on the sidewalk and then leave it out there a couple hours and go drop an egg on that thing and it'll cook.
Good grief. I am not ready for that. Harold, wanted to let you know, Harold, I tried to make you a moderator, and because you're another channel, it won't let me do it while you're in the chat. So I will get with you after the show, Harold, and get the information I need from you to go ahead and make you a moderator. So I was hoping it would let me during the show, but for some reason, people that have other channels, it won't let me do that. I don't know why. It's like the chat is stricter on other channels.
And I have to apologize to my wife for having to interrupt our movie night for the show, but she understands.
I hope she don't send a hunting party out for me.
Well, let's just not make a habit of this. I'll be in the
Yeah,
dog.
yeah. I got to thinking about it tonight, and I was like, I had a lady email me from Canada, and she asked me to, well, she asked me to look into an attack, and she said the whole community up there is pretty upset over what's going on, and they think there's a cover up, and she wanted me to look into it and kind of see what I thought or what I thought may be going on. So I got to digging into it early this morning, and after I was looking into it, going through, the files and you know what I'm saying, the media releases and everything like that. I at first, honestly, I was probably two hours into it, and I couldn't find anything that Amanda, if you'd like to come on, I can send you a link, or I can have Randy send it to you. Well, Randy probably can't send it to you, can you? You can drop it in chat though, can't you? You could drop the StreamYard link in chat, right?
Give me a minute. I'll work on it. Yeah, I should be able to copy.
Maybe. We're going to try something, Amanda, if you would like to join us tonight. This was a spur of the moment. What do they call it? An impromptu, I guess, live tonight. But as I was looking into it, to be honest,
Now, I'm not going to guarantee. I will not guarantee it, but you can give it a try. It looks like it's a working link.
There you go, Amanda. If you would like to join us, the link is in the chat. I hear some music.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as I was looking into it, about even about probably 2 hours after digging, and that's honestly why I don't do a whole lot of the investigations anymore, is because it is so time consuming to do the investigation videos, because it just takes a whole lot more reading and investigating. You know what I mean. So after 2 hours, I was like, well, there's nothing here. You know what I mean? I was like, from what I'm seeing and hearing and everything, I was pretty stuck on what they was saying was the truth. Until I turned the page and there was something that caught my eye, and there was the smoking gun. And I was like, that don't make no sense. So as I started digging further into it, it seemed to me like there might be, I guess, what you would call a scapegoat. So it got even worse as I started digging into the findings of the pathologists that were involved in this animal attack. And as I was reading more and more into it, I said, something's off here. Something is not right. You start getting that feeling. And that's what made me decide tonight to just go live. And I was like, yeah, we'll just bring it on and we'll just talk about it and see what happens. We better get that up there. There we go. Let's get that. Entertainment purposes only on the screen. A lot of content creators are getting hit right now that is not using it. Yeah, Peter, something was very off when I got into that. So before we jump into that story, Randy, what I've been thinking about doing is Tuesdays and Sunday nights, making that the permanent 2 nights that I would go live. There may not, folks, be there may or may not. I'm not going to say there's not going to be, but there may not be a link to give you all a heads up that we're going to go live on Tuesdays and Sundays. So what you're going to have to do is on Tuesdays and Sundays, you're going to have to watch for us at around 9:15 p.m. That will be the times that we will go live at night. Now, if we have a guest or something, I'm sure we will probably drop those links. But otherwise, boots on the ground. Just look for Tuesdays and Sundays. And Sundays will probably be more of a sit down. But that's what I'm thinking about right now. I think those are the better days. One of the things I got coming up, Wide Open Adventures. We're going to be having a live. I don't have the date scheduled yet, but I know everybody remembers Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot. We just had them on the show just a few nights ago. Really good sit down live. It had really good reaction, really good views. They're going to be coming on Wide Open Adventures and telling us how they survive and how they live off grid. And they're going to give everybody like kind of a glimpse into their life. I think that's going to be a really, really neat show. Another thing we got coming up is Travis Carpenter is coming up. Travis Carpenter is going to be coming on, doing a Patreon video with be Randy and Jesse, I'm assuming. And it's going to have to be on Patreon. And what we're going to be talking about is the weather weaponized. And we're going to be talking about HARP and a lot of other things. So should be a very interesting Patreon video. We're going to be able to dive deep there, go down the rabbit hole more in Patreon than what we can here. So all of you Patreon members, you'll have access to that. Another thing we have coming up tomorrow night at 9:15 p.m., we are having a Boots on the Ground for the YouTube members only. So if you're not a YouTube member, you will not be able to access tomorrow night's live. It will be for members only, and I would like to thank all of the people that have come on and have joined up today to be a member to be able to watch tomorrow night. We had a really big turnout today. We had a lot of people signed up for the memberships. That way they would be able to view tomorrow night's Boots on the Ground. Now, tomorrow will possibly and more than likely be the last Boots on the Ground for this month. So the members are going to get the last Boots on the Ground for the month tomorrow night at 9:15. So should be a really fun time. And we got a lot more member stuff coming up. I'm sure Randy will have some ideas for the members, and Jesse's got ideas, and we talk quite a bit, and we all try to get together and do things for you guys because you guys do pay for the extra content. So we do want to make sure that we, at least give back a little bit for you all doing that. Y'all are paying the gas money and stuff for us to be able to go to the locations. And sometimes we have to buy tires, don't we, Randy? I've had to buy a few tires. I think that's pretty much all I have for the announcements. Let's see. We got Lisa Ann in here tonight. We got Margie Burke in here tonight. Michael Deere, Peter McPhee. We got Lisa Ann. Edith Gomez is in here tonight. Good to see you guys. We got a lot of our familiar faces in here tonight. We got Sarah Bear in here tonight. I'm surprised to see her in here tonight. That's a surprise. Good to see you, Sarah Bear. Scared Silly just become a member. Good to see you, Scared Silly. Thank you for becoming a member. Welcome. You'll be joining us on the Boots on the Ground tomorrow night. So thank you for that, and God bless you for that. Tomorrow night should be a pretty good Boots on the Ground. Last night was a wiry one, and we might talk a little bit about it after we end I guess the investigation we're going to talk about tonight, because I bet Randy's got some questions about last night.
Well, at least you know you didn't get eaten after your battery died.
Yeah. I still got all my fingers and toes too, so that was a pretty good night.
Now, again, just when we were about to see something, my video cut out. Every time it was like something was about to move into the frame, the video would start buffering. Every time.
Right. Yeah, that was a concern. I talked to Jesse about it today, and the concern was, are these things able to manipulate the hold on, I had to ban somebody. For everybody watching the thing, that was not Sarah, as in my sister. That was somebody pretending to be Sarah. They are banned because I know she would not say that. So that has been removed. But yeah, I made it out of there.
Good.
With all my toes and fingers. It got a little wild though, I ain't gonna lie. It got scary down there. It was not a fun place.
Well, we're gonna have to remind me to talk about there at the last when you were like saying this is my bridge. I thought I heard something say challenge accepted. I'm not for sure. But if you look at the action that you encountered after that, I think they took you up on your offer, and it looks like you lost the bridge at the
end. Yeah. They did not want me on the bridge. I don't know why, but they did not. They didn't want me on the bridge. I think they wanted me under it. Oh man.
Dude, you gotta have big balls to do what you do, bro. I'm not kidding, especially by yourself. Nobody can say you're a coward. It's because Mike gets scared. Usually when he gets startled, it's because it's for a legitimate reason.
Right.
And if somebody else wants to call him whatever, go and do what the hell he does. Walk a mile or two in his shoes. The average person won't be able to continue to do what he does. I mean, look at how many people he's had with him, and after they've had a close encounter, they didn't want no part of it. And you need to remember that before you go wishing you have an encounter with one of these things, you better be damn sure you know what you're getting yourself into. Because these aren't little fuzzy little creatures to cuddle up with. These are real monsters that can actually kill and eat you. Okay, these aren't little fuzzy little creatures that you see in movies or in cartoons. And they're not friendly like the movie the Harry the Hendersons. They're not like that in reality.
Yeah, they're not going to ride around in my station wagon with me, I don't think.
Well, unless they're eating him, they might, while he's driving down the road. They could possibly do that. But they're not friendly little creatures.
Right.
And even though I've had many encounters with werewolves, make no doubt, these creatures are not your friends. I can see it in their eyes. If they get the opportunity, they'll kill and eat you if they can. If you show fear around these things, you can be an Oklahoma Scooby snack very easily with these things.
Absolutely. And we know it to be true just by some of the cases we've looked at. I mean, the cases kind of speak for themselves.
And randomly shooting that stuff in the woods, not a good idea.
Especially if you hit one. Then you're dealing with the whole family. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and jump into this encounter. That way we can get through this, and we'll talk about last night's live, and we'll go over that too, because I know Randy's got a lot of questions. He's always got the good questions. So yeah, I received a email from a lady out of Canada, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Quadville is the name of the town in Ontario. So she asked me to take a look and see. This, guys, what I'm doing here is just my opinion. I wasn't there, and God knows I don't have all the information because they don't post all the information. I am merely looking at this from my side with my opinion, and I will give you my investigative theory as to what I think is going on, or at least I will lay the evidence out for you guys to be able to make your own conclusion to what you believe happened. So what happens is in Quadville, they have a 8-year-old child goes missing and is located in the woods. The child is not deceased. The child is still alive, and the child will be rushed to an emergency room, and then later will be air vac'd out for the injuries that the child has sustained. So when I was first reading this, I was under the impression that what I was looking at was probably pretty much true. And I think and I hope that you guys will kind of see Jan, I will tell Sarah that. I tried to get her to go out with me, Jan. She wouldn't do it. She doesn't like to party with me no more. Like what Randy said. Everybody goes out with me, and then they don't like to party with me no more.
Everybody wants to see one of these creatures. When you see them up close, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, people are ready to go until they have that encounter, and then people wish they wouldn't have went. And when they're screaming at me, "Let's go!" I'm usually the one that keeps walking toward it. My time to leave is whenever I think it's going to become dangerous, and that's whenever I pull out. Sometimes I might even push that line a little far.
Like last night, huh? Last
yeah.
year, huh?
Yeah,
I think
he
he
just
wanted that. It was seriously. I mean, even your mother was telling you to leave, and yet you were just damn hell bent on keeping that bridge for yourself. That's my bridge.
well, you know what my buddy told me. Check this out. My buddy's like, "Hey, Mike, I now know why you're single." He said, "Because there ain't no woman crazy enough that could put up with somebody doing that shit."
I have a question. When are you going to put a camera on your back? You've already gotten permission to do that. I mean, I want to see what's going on behind you because I guarantee it, with all the stuff that we're hearing on the EVPs and stuff, I'm curious to know what the hell's going on behind you that we can't see.
Well, I have two answers for you. The first answer is the other night, whenever I went boots on the ground, I left a camera running the whole time I was out that was left at the vehicle. Now, that's what I was going to ask everybody. Do you all want me to upload that and let you all go through it? I'm not going to sit and watch it for 2 hours just recording out the window. But if that's something that you all want to see, I recorded it and I can upload that. So, Randy, is that something you'd want to look at, or is it you think that's not not what people are going to want to see? Because that would take some work to upload that.
Let's
But
I say let's see what everybody else has to say. Let's get everybody's opinion here before let's hear what the audience has to say. Let's bring them in on this. What do y'all guys want? What do y'all think?
hey, Clough, good to see you, man. Glad you was able to make it. Hey, Barbie. Hey, Lake 17,
Should
good to
Mike
see you.
should Mike upload the video and let everybody look at it and see what we can see? What do y'all think?
And the reason I'm asking too, it is a lot of work to upload 2 hours, but I'll do it if y'all want to sit and go through it and see if you see anything pass by the car or whatever. I don't know if anything even did, but if you guys want me to do that, drop a 1, and if you don't want me to, drop a 2, because it'll be quite a bit of work. And Randy, to answer your second question, is OCST. Yeah, I'll probably remain single because I don't think there's any women going to want to go Bigfoot hunting every Tuesday and Sunday. Probably not. Probably not. Probably not the way I do it anyway.
I'm sure there's somebody out there that would actually go with you, Mike.
I don't know.
Eventually, you'll find this is.
They usually go when they're happy on the way, but on the way home they're usually crying and saying never again. So to answer your second question, I got this in the mail. I ordered it. What I can do is I can put a GoPro on this that will rear face. So it goes on your head and it will have a rear facing GoPro, which the GoPro is a wide angle. So there's a good thing and a bad thing about this. Okay, so since I'm not rich, I can't go with an IR camera that's rear facing. I would have to do a daytime boots on the ground in order to give you all a reverse view of what's going on. So what we could do is, if there was enough people that watched and supported it, is I could go to these hot spots we go to during the night and I could walk around those. I could even do it live and then have the rear camera running and then upload that to you guys, and you would have perfect video because you would have daylight. Nighttime, my GoPro that I have right now, it sucks in low light. It absolutely sucks. So
Would it be you could rig up in your truck? I have a question. Is that something that you could rig up in your truck since you like to put a light on your vehicle and set it up where it's inside your vehicle looking out the front of the window in case something comes by and picks a lock or something like that? If something comes back and walked around your vehicle and put a tree trunk or whatever on your vehicle, would it be able to pick that up, I wonder? Because you've got activity at your vehicle. That'd be
You know
cool
that
if you could capture something. If you could capture something hitting that tree trunk on your truck or something, or that vehicle, that'd be cool as hell to see what's going on at the vehicle. So maybe try a combination of different things.
right?
See what works best.
Okay. Hey, Randy, can you drop the link one more time? Amanda decided she does want to come on. I put the GoPro up the other night when I went out on the front window and had it running the full time. But again, it was dark out. So I don't know if you'll see anything. So what I will do is I'll look at it. And if I can see any, like, if, I mean, you're all ain't going to just want to look at a dark, nothing if it's not working. So that would be a waste of time to upload 2 hours of just darkness. What I have been doing, I'm not going to tell people where I do it at, but I have 2 cameras now that are night vision that record, and they transmit a signal back to my laptop here to like a video file. And I do hide those around my area, and they will look inside your vehicle, get your tag number, description, and everything. I mean, they are crystal clear. And I do use those for security. I hide those before I ever go out. So that's one of the things I've been doing.
Next time if you go hunting later this year and get you a white-tailed deer, I suggest you take some of those deer steaks with you. I mean, if you want to draw them closer, start feeding them. I wouldn't suggest you doing this, but if you really want to draw them in closer to you, feed them. They love white-tailed deer.
Yeah, I guess what I could do is go down there and camp and maybe cook some steaks over the open fire. So
yeah, that's the drop.
see how that
Make sure
works.
you have somebody with you. That way you can, have some extra food. That way while they're chewing on them, you can hopefully get back to the vehicle, before they get done. And hopefully there's not too many of them,
Right. What I will do, Robert, I was just telling Robert, we're going to talk about the live at the end of the show. We're going to take questions. He was asking about the live also. I think a lot of people had a lot of questions about last night. All right, so Randy, I think you're going to enjoy this one. I think you're probably going to have some ideas like I am. So the police told all the residents in Quadville to keep a close eye on their small children after a young girl was attacked in the woods. Police issued that they believed at the time that the attack was an animal. Okay? So, excuse me. The police are saying that the attack was an animal. The little girl that was attacked was an 8-year-old girl that had been missing for 4 hours when she was found at around 12:30 a.m. on June 24th with potentially life-threatening injuries in the woods in the eastern Ontario village. Pop this up here. At the time, police said they suspected an animal attack had led to the girl's injuries and her disappearance. Now, they're hiding a lot of stuff in this case, guys. They're not telling us a whole lot about the circumstances of the little girl going missing. We know that she was seen at a grocery store so far, but we don't know the idea as to why she, went missing. There's a lot in this that they held out, and even at the end, the police statement, I think, is going to probably piss a lot of people off. It did me, just what the police said, and I think it'll probably even irate Randy just a little bit. It made me kind of frustrated. So the police said that they suspected that the child was attacked by a animal in the wood line. And, and so far, guys, I was like 2 hours into reading this, and I was like, I'm not seeing anything out of place here. I could see that actually happening. The Ontario Provincial Police, OPP, are still urging parents in the Quadville, Ontario area to keep their small children indoors under close supervision. Wednesday, after a young girl was found the day before with severe injuries, now suspected, have been caused by an animal. Okay, and I want y'all to keep remembering animal, animal, animal. Emergency services responded around 12:30 a.m. Tuesday to reports that an 8-year-old girl who had been missing for 4 hours was found with potentially life-threatening injuries in the woods of Quadville, a village located about 60 kilometers is where it's at, guys, southwest of Renfrew. Now, another thing that I want to emphasize to you guys is the first responders that arrived said the child was attacked by an animal again, okay? Little is publicly known about the nature of the girl's injuries, but OPP said in a statement Wednesday morning that investigators suspect to have been an animal attack again. They cautioned that further testing and analysis is required. Again, everyone is told to watch their kids in the early mornings and the late evenings. You know, whenever I hear people saying to watch your kids in the early morning and late evenings, that just reminds me so much of a lot of these missing children reports, 411, late evening, early morning hours. Why is it those hours? Well, I was thinking about it today. You know, if you go out and not even driving toward the sun, and I'm sure everybody's experienced this, you drive your car right at that point to where the sun's went down, your headlights don't seem to work. You can't hardly see. Your visibility sucks. You know, it's that right at that right time. And it makes me wonder, do they do that under the, you know, I guess where they can hide, you know, at that time, maybe better. A wooded area is actually where the kid was found near the intersection of Quadville and Letterkenny roads remained closed off with the police tape Wednesday. OPP and the Ontario Ministry of Natural Resources were at the scene Wednesday morning. Now, my question is, Randy, and I'm going to put this one to you since you're the only one here, I guess. There ain't nobody else. So, this town where this child went missing seems to be a pretty heavily populated area during tourist times of the year, whenever people like to go out and vacation and stuff. It's like a vacation place where it attracts a lot of new people at certain times of the year. Whenever we go hunting, we hunt animals at certain times of the years during their migration because we know where they're going to be, and they're going to be herds of them, and they're easier to hunt when they're in herds. Do you think it's possible that some of these children that go missing from these small towns during these events and stuff, do you think they know whenever everybody's going to gather up and that out of towners are not going to be watching their children as close as they should be because, hey, it's supposed to be a safe place. We're on vacation, right?
Well, look at the data. Look at how many children come up missing around social gatherings. I think the data would speak for itself. If we could put on the like a map, and then put points about where these children were abducted at, and if you could put points on a map, I'm sure you could draw some kind of conclusion to this theory or to the data that we're looking at here. If that makes any sense, what I'm saying.
Right, and that's
some
kind
way
of
if we could somehow look at the history of this location and see if we can find, is there any other people coming up missing around this area, and look at the times when these other people were come up missing. Could we put the data together to draw a conclusion from it, if that makes any sense?
You know, I think just, you know, with what Dave Pilatus has done, you know, the 411 series is and everything that he's done, looking at the times and the time frames, I see a pattern, you know.
Oh, most definitely. He's done a very good job on plot on charts and stuff like that. That's why I do reference him from time to time because I do feel like the work that you're doing is kind of related. I mean, whether it's UFOs, demonic, it's all related because these things we're not looking for EVPs
Right.
on your show, but we're picking them up. And when they're saying some of the things they're saying, I'm not going to ignore them because these things they're not whistling Dixie. They're not doing this for no reason. I mean, I'm sure there's a reason behind the madness, but
Yeah, I think sometimes that they get used to, like what we was talking about earlier, they get used to routine, and they start picking up on the hunting seasons, the fishing seasons, the recreational seasons, and when people come and when people leave. And I think there's a possibility that they do take advantage of it.
and there's got to be
Uh,
rules and regulations that determines whether a person can be taken by one of these things or not. I'm wondering if there's some way that we could figure out what determines whether somebody becomes a statistic or not. In this particular, is there what could have happened? Is there a way to prevent this, in the future from this stuff from happening? What good is learning this information if we're not able to save lives with it in the future? I mean, my goal is if people understand that, hey, there are things out there that's not told us, but there are things out there in the woods that can harm and kill you, especially children. I think if parents were more informed about the real world that we lived in, I think there'd be less children coming up missing because the parents would be watching them more.
Absolutely, I agree
Is that
100%. Yeah, I think you nailed it.
I have friends, and I'm not going to name their names. They have children, and they go to these state and national parks. And when they're there, the husband or the wife always has eyes on their kids 24/7. They never, ever take their eyes off of their children, not even for a moment. They always have either the father or the mother with eyes on their kids at all times. And if you have little ones, never take especially if you're out someplace, never take your eyes off your kid. There's too many things that can happen to them in this world that we're currently living
And it
in.
doesn't
And this
take
is
them
also,
long to put
um,
distance between you and your child when they take them either. It does not take long for them to get distance.
and depending on there are things that, there's David Pilati, there's an example of a story of a family's kid coming up missing, and they just took their eyes off the kid for a few seconds, and then he was just gone. They never found a trace of him.
Oh, are you
I
talking
mean,
about the hide and go seek kid?
yeah,
Okay.
they never found the trace of him, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, on that
Yeah, and he
particular
was
case.
what?
Or
Just he was just a few feet away too, wasn't he? He wasn't even far away at all. And what was his dad doing? Like reading a book or something, wasn't he?
yeah, and people wonder how this can happen. I can give you an example. Imagine some creature opening up a portal, grabbing the kid, sucking the kid in the portal, and the portal closes, and you'll never know what happened to him.
Right.
And if people don't believe in portals, what was it last year that the Pope actually did a ceremony to open portals? Why would he do a ceremony to open portals if portals didn't exist? Would he waste time and money on something that didn't exist? The answer to that, I would say, would be no.
And what about the guy that likes the letter X? Whenever he was young, they said he opened a portal in his bedroom at a very young age. But my question is this:
And
did he open a portal, or did something open a portal that was visiting him because it knew what he was going to do in the future and was preparing him for what he's doing now.
Possibility.
I mean, we
Because I
could,
assure you,
you know what I'm saying?
there's
I think that he is, I think he's more than what people think. He's kind of like what was that cartoon, the Autobots or whatever? More than what meets the eye. I think he's more than that. And there was a preacher here lately by the name of Mari. I don't know if you know who he is. I like to listen to him sometimes. And he actually called him out and said, I know who you are. I'm praying for you. And I'm asking you not to do what you're called to do, because if you do, you will burn in the lake of fire forever. So that kind of answers some questions there, right?
Most definitely.
All right. So continuing on, and what they said here is until the testing results come back, and there will be even some DNA testing being done on the child that was attacked to try to determine what kind of animal we can speculate that attacked the child. So right here, they're talking about they're going to be taking DNA samples to try to figure out what kind of animal attacked this child. But if you notice, all through this, you have first responders, you got police departments, you got all these people saying animal, 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 animal. Okay. So it gets even weirder. The injured girl was initially transported to St. Francis Memorial Hospital in Barry's Bay, according to, and I believe his name is Fiorentino. So when I had even got to this point, I didn't see anything out of place. It all kind of seemed to me like, this is believable. It's believable. So later, she was airlifted to the Children's Hospital in Ottawa with a ambulance service confirming that they had transported a pediatric patient of CHEO with critical injuries related to an animal attack. Now you got doctors and ER nurses, first responders, police department, people that know what animal attacks look like saying animal. They see this day in, day out. These are professionals. Other people who live in the area are told that police have been by their homes asking questions. Now, people in the neighborhood are starting to be interviewed. And what the police are asking them is, have you seen any pets in the area, or have you seen any wildlife around that you don't normally see? So whenever I found that, I thought again, that still falls within the realm. It could have been a dog attack. The police are trying to find a dog, right? They're trying to find an animal. So, I could understand that. If you've seen a stray dog running around as a stray dog, try to attack you or bother you, right? So that kind of falls, within. I mean, it's a little heavy handed for an animal attack, but I mean, I can see how it could have fit. Well, after they started asking people in the neighborhood, hey, have you seen something out here that ain't supposed to be here? Have you been seeing, anything running around that's not normal to the area? What they started finding out is in their police officers' reports from people that did not even know each other. The police were getting reports of people reporting, oh yeah, matter of fact, we've been hearing some strange howls at night that we've never heard before. I'm talking like some really weird, deep howls. And other people were saying that they had a peeking Tom at their windows at night and they could hear him breathing heavily. That is where I really started looking at this. And I was like, okay, now we're starting to go across that line a little bit here. We have multiple people that don't know each other talking about strange howls and talking about how scary the howls are, how deep they are, how long they last. They're like these howls last for forever, and people hearing stuff at their windows, heavy breathing, and one lady even talked about her doorknob getting wiggled. And I was like, okay,
This sounds like we've heard this. I mean, the MO sounds similar to other stories that you've told or other encounters that people have had before, the same MO with the door knobs and stuff like that. And even it sounds familiar to some of the stuff that you experienced growing
right.
up. So is it a potential werewolf or Bigfoot, or do we know?
That's that was what caught my attention too, is I was like, I can relate to some of these reports that were coming in. And that's another reason I think it's important to do the boots on the ground if you're going to be into this business and not just telling stories, is you will have that ability to relate to it, to be able to experience it, and to be able to put real life experiences towards, reports, to help verify, if you will. So people started talking about these strange howls and this heavy breathing at their windows. Then this is what also got me after the doorknob. One old timer, they said, they call him old timer, reported something was scratching under his window one night, and it got to the point to where it actually removed some wood off the side of his house. And they asked him, they said, "What were you doing when this happened?" And he said, "I was laying in bed watching TV, and I had made myself a bowl of potato soup with bacon. And I was laying there watching TV, and something tried to tear through the damn window." Well, yeah, of course, it smelled the food, right? I mean, that was the first thing I started thinking.
It's hungry.
Yeah,
The beast must eat.
it's it's definitely wanting to eat whatever it is. So,
It likes a little human with
oh yeah,
it.
yeah, and it reminds me, and Silver Bullet. Remember the first lady that is attacked, and it's because she was going to take her own life, and the werewolf attacked her and said that he saved her by attacking her. That she wasn't going to burn in hell now because suicides go to hell, and he saved her. So, you know, so later on, the little girl was airlifted uh, and arrived in critical condition where she was placed in ICU. And the reports of people having these things happen at their windows and stuff continued to come in as the police were interviewing people, so forth. So then people show up in town that people haven't seen before. People show up in camouflage, military looking people show up. No insignias, no names, no emblems, nothing to tell who they are. And they go out and they set up large traps. So now they're out trying to trap whatever this is, right? So there's
Question:
yeah.
do we have any idea on what they consider a large trap in that community? I mean, do we have any idea?
They did. They mentioned that they were using bear traps.
Okay, that just gives the audience some better idea that these people with no insignias are setting up bear traps. I mean, does this sound normal police work
Right,
here? do,
right.
do police officers set up bear traps on a normal investigation? I don't think these people are normal law enforcement. Just Just,
Right.
with the data here.
Well, this is where it gets really strange. The bear traps were placed out in the wood line where the child was attacked, and they used log chains and large locks to secure the chains around trees.
Must be a big
So,
ass bear.
yeah. So they're definitely, in my opinion, are looking for something of large stature. Uh,
Some other information. Normally, they hold the bear trap down. They'll drive a stake in the ground, but they don't use the stakes in the ground. They're using log chains with locks, and they're tying them and anchoring them to trees. I mean, my God, that should tell you the strength of whatever they're dealing with. It's very strong. I mean, looking at the steps that these people are taking to trap it.
well, it gets even weirder too. Is I'm putting my email in real quick for a lady in chat. I really want to talk to her. Uh, as they're chaining these traps up and everything, we now know everybody's saying animal. Everybody's saying animal. They're putting out large bear traps. They're log chaining them around trees with these special locks. Everybody says they've never seen locks like this before. They're not like your average lock. So these huge locks are put on. And what really got me to thinking, now this is not publicized, but this is just my theory. My theory is you have a child that has been attacked by an unknown, we'll call it animal at this point, by an unknown animal. We're not going to add to it. We know that professionals now have looked at the child. She's went through the ER now. She's been, airlifted to another hospital. She's in intensive care. I would speculate that, specialists have took a look at her, because if she's in intensive care, you get all kinds of, special tests and stuff done. So my theory on this would be they was able to examine her, and they was able to look at the bite marks, the injuries that she had, and they could tell that whatever had attacked her was large, that it was not a dog or anything. They knew at that point, okay, we're going to need some large traps to catch whatever attacked her, because they can look at that stuff and they can tell how big something is that attacks you by a bite ratio, the bruising, the scratching, whatever it may be. Even the pressure that it takes, to snap a bone, if it was done by something, they know how big approximately you have to be able to do that. They have forensic scientists that know all that stuff. So
Question,
that
Mike.
tells,
Do
yeah,
you think
yeah.
the doctors and surgeons involved that, working on this girl, they know that they're not dealing with a human? A human didn't cause these injuries to this girl. I'm sure the doctors and the people working on this kid know that, correct? Based on
My
the wound?
my opinion would be that at this point, I think that they know that they're not dealing with a regular animal. One of my reasons for this is just my speculation based on the information, would just be my theory is, if an animal attacks a child, then your natural resource officers are going to be the ones that's going to trap that animal to either euthanize it, test it for rabies, quarantine it until they can find out, make sure that the animal's clean, and then later they would, of course, destroy the animal, because then it's a known man attacker, right? So it has to be destroyed. So I would say at this point, also having the military people there, or military looking people there, setting traps, and it's not your local warden, ranger, your government is actually trying to trap whatever this is. They went beyond just, your wardens. That tells me that they're trying to catch something big, fast, and in a hurry to get rid of it.
And I have a theory on why they have to lie and cover this stuff up. My opinion, again, and this is for entertainment purposes only, how else can they get us to believe a lie that we come from monkeys if all these other creatures exist? If mankind isn't the only thing on this earth, then they have to continue this by covering all the truth up. They can't let the truth out because that's going to blow their lie away. Once people realize that, hey, there's other things on this earth besides us, and humans on average aren't stupid. I think people could handle the truth if it was done in the proper way. Other than the average person who don't believe in this crap comes across one of these creatures, and the average person is going to be terrified. And if you get into fear, you can easily be eaten by these things. They feed off of fear. Look at the cases on the encounters where they had eaten the people and they were alive when they were being eaten. That just shows you how evil these things are. And that's just my opinion on what covered this up.
I agree. I think the only reason you'll never see exposure, even if the government knew that we were able to even comprehend what's out there, they can't do it now because it's been too long, and the liability, the lawsuits and everything. People would stop going to, people would stop going to the national forest because it's going to be like, so you're telling me that you let my family member go out there knowing there was stuff out there that ate them? The lawsuits would be out the roof. People would stop, going camping, because who wants to go camping somewhere where something's going to walk up that has a high IQ that, is possibly going to eat you and drag you off in your sleeping bag in the middle of the night. So that's
why that's why they talk about it, is the same reason, the cover up. That's why they need law enforcement. They can't tell the population because they have to continue to lie. My opinion again, and through entertainment purposes only.
Right. And like what Clough said, they might start eating at your feet, and it may not be fast. That is my fear, Clough. That is my fear, is to be abducted by one of these, taken off to, you don't even know what you're going to see where they take you. You may see God awful things. The Bible says, that we will see things that will stop young men's hearts, right? So if these things look that bad and they drag you in there, no telling where they're going to drag you, what you're going to see, what they're going to do to you. They could start at your hands and feet and just work their way, to the middle of the pie. You know what I'm saying? And that's not a good thing.
Now imagine in the daylight hours, you walk into the center of 12 sleeping werewolves and then they wake up. How would you like to be in that situation? I've been there. It's not a fun feeling, let me tell you. You talk about a pucker moment. And the particular firearm I had only had 6 rounds. It's like, which 6 do I want to try to shoot at?
Right. Oh, good grief. Virginia says they start in the abdomen.
Mm-hmm.
That I think that's why, again, dating is pretty hard, because not a lot of people want to date you when you go out and stuff just might, make a buffet out of your abdomen, right?
I'll just call you home and crash your girlfriend, my God, that would get old.
Right.
Because they can be obnoxious as hell. They can terrify the
Oh, yeah. I went out with a lot of people that were like, I'm not scared. I've camped all my life. I'm not scared. I've looked for them. And then they go out with me and I take them down there and they get some real action. They don't get oh, look, there's a footprint, or look, there's a bent over tree. When they get yelled at for the first time and they see that thing actually running, dude, I've had them run to my car screaming. I've had one person pass straight out, fell straight on her face, Dust went everywhere. I mean, they when it happens, they cannot handle it. So I mean, yeah, I mean,
And not only that, you're going into their damn territory at night. I mean, my
right.
God, nothing is in your favor when you're in the woods at night with a flashlight because you're in their natural environment. It's like entering the sea. You know, humans are on the bottom of the food chain, and I would say it's a similar situation when you enter the woods, especially when you're alone with no GPS. I mean, please, guys, don't do what Mike does. You could die. You could get seriously injured or killed and even eaten alive. And I'm not joking when I'm saying this. Even though this is for entertainment purposes only, just don't do what you see Mike do. Because you could really get seriously screwed up. If you fall, you know, if he falls out there and gets injured, will these creatures try to take advantage of an injured human before his security team got there? I tell you what, I would not want to be a human being with these creatures being hungry and you get injured. That would be a seriously bad situation.
Oh yeah, and
Especially if
they're opportunists. You know, I believe that. I believe they are opportunists, and if you get down there and you hurt yourself, and then they think they can get away with eating you and making it look like a mountain lion done it, or a panther, or a wild hog. I mean, and you know, it's not just, you know, cryptids in the woods. It's other animals that can take your life too. Wild hogs, bears, snakes, spiders. You know, you can get bit by almost any kind of bug or stung, and you can have anaphylaxis in the middle of the woods. And if you don't have a partner there with you to administer first aid on, you know, anaphylaxis or something like that, they're going to find you in the woods somewhere. OCST says, would you trust one enough to get close enough to help you? My partner or a beast?
I think he's talking about a beast.
No, absolutely not. I believe they're the descendants of the Nephilim, the fallen angels, and I think if it's walking up there, it's not going to be to help you. I think the only reason people survive, you know, where we find the kids alive and stuff, is because a search team was assembled fast enough that whatever took the child knows if they don't find that child, it's going to get caught. So they leave that child behind to let the search team find that child to stop them from searching the area, because they're like, man, if we keep this kid, they, you know. But if you notice in the other abductions where the search teams were in smaller towns, smaller search teams, and it took longer to organize a search team, those children are usually never found or not found alive. So if a child or even, you know, an elderly person or anybody really, if they go missing, time is of the essence if you want to find them still alive. I believe that this is just my personal opinion. I believe that if a cryptid were to take somebody, just my opinion, entertainment purposes only, and you do not find that person within 12 hours, it's probably a recovery effort at that point. That would be my guess. Because if they have long enough to have their way with you, it's not going to be good.
And then you listen to the stories the kids tell who are recovered alive, and they describe something that's not human. And of course, you know, what do those law enforcement? Oh, the kid doesn't know what he's talking about. It's just his overactive imagination.
Sure. There wasn't no bear chewing his leg off.
Yeah, those things don't really exist. The monsters aren't real. If you believe that, you're crazy. Well, I used to believe that. But when you see one of these things within 3 feet from you, you can't, it's not like you can say, hey, it doesn't exist. I don't believe in you when it's standing right in front of you. You don't want to
Right.
insult these things. That'd be a good way to die horribly. Because they don't take the insult. They don't want to be taunted, and they don't want to be insulted either. So if you
Right.
do, anybody goes out here and you approach these things, you better treat them with respect. I mean, there was a female, that one lady that got injured, and evidently she did something that they didn't like. And as Micah found out the hard way, if you taunt these things, they can hurt you.
You know,
So if you go, be sure to be respectful when you're in the neighborhood.
Bohica nailed it. Anybody that has firsthand experience with these things is going to have PTSD the rest of their life. I absolutely agree, because I still, after living at Granny's house, and that stuff going on, it bothered me so bad. Even like when I go fishing, I love to night fish. I love to sit down there with a fire and have my poles out, trying to catch that big flathead. But what do I end up doing the whole time I'm there? Looking over my shoulders all the time.
And that's no fun when you're fishing, because normally your back is, not facing the water. Your back is facing whatever's going to come up behind you and get you,
Right.
That's why the next time I go catfishing, I'm going to have me a mirror that I can set up so I can look behind me. These things, I'm not afraid of them, but I don't want them sneaking up on me. I don't like it when they sneak up on you. I mean, I've had them get within a couple feet of me at night, and it's no fun when you turn around and you've got one in your face. It's not fun. They will try to intimidate the shit out of you. I kid you not.
I like
And
what she said. She's like, I could see Mike taking a girl on a date, and she'd say, what do we need? And he'd be like, snake boots.
And you might want to wear a diaper, too, for this trip, honey. It can get really scary.
and wear some high heels that you can't run that fast in. You don't have to worry about running tonight. You don't need the snake boots. Just wear your high heels. OCST says he has a question. Water. It's hard for me to see what he says. So, question for all: if you fell into the water and you struggle to get out,
take a hand from a Bigfoot who reached out to pull you in.
Yeah, I believe they attack from the water's edge, no doubt. Because Randy's always telling me, "Don't walk along the water's edge." I do see you type that whenever I'm out there walking.
Yeah. Well, there's times I've heard EVPs trying to, they're calling Mike, come to the water and stuff like that. It's like, I mean, you don't want to follow these things to whatever they're trying to lure you to, because they can drown you pretty easily. I mean, they're a hell of a lot stronger than you. Much stronger. I mean,
yeah.
I've seen werewolves walking and running literally in a push-up formation. Now, it's not humanly possible for a human to run like that, but I've seen these things running in a push-up position very fast, a lot faster than a human being can run, and I've seen a 15 to 20-foot werewolf conceal themselves within a couple feet away from me in knee-high grass, and then you have them just stand up out of knee-high grass. That'll scare the living hell out of you.
Oh,
because one wouldn't think that a 15 to 20-footer could hide himself in 9 inches of grass, but I can't. Let me tell you, they damn sure can. And if whatever does that to you, boy, I hope you know Jesus. You might just meet him if you get too damn scared and try to run from these things, because you're going to have a fight or flight moment your first encounter. And if you go to run from these things, and if these things are hungry, you're dead, and you're going to get eaten, because you're not going to outrun them in the natural.
No. And I think down here where I'm at, I've encountered several things, and they weren't all Bigfoot or werewolves. I mean, I've encountered something green that I don't even know what it was. But all right,
I've seen
so
some floating across the other night. I mean, my God, what the hell was that?
yeah, we're going to get to that here in just a minute. We're just about done with this one. So, uh, they went around asking questions. Why was the military here? And of course, the answer they get back is, we don't know anything about the military being here. So, anyways, to aid in the investigation, I also found this looking into it. It was to aid in the investigation, multiple pathology experts were consulted. Spokesperson Bill Dixon wrote Wednesday, while the incident is still under investigation, we still suspect it is an animal attack based on the professional's opinion of examining the little girl that was attacked. But then they came out and they said this, and this is what caught my attention. But recent testing of samples taken from the victim's wounds has now revealed no traces of animal DNA. Okay, so my question is, the way that is worded, and I'll read it again. And I'm a stickler for words, because I used to approve reports before they went to court. That was part of my job when I made investigator and when I was a captain. But recent testing of samples taken from the victim's wounds has now revealed no traces of animal DNA. They're not saying there was no DNA. They're saying there was no traces of animal DNA. And if they're saying there was no animal DNA, then what they would be saying is, we have no traces of DNA that's in our data banks that we can recognize as to what done this. Is that right? Does that sound right to you?
Well, yeah, it sounds right. It sounds right. I also look at it's excluding a normal animal like a bear, lion, or tiger, or a dog. So they're looking for what this data shows to me is that would exclude a normal animal. So whatever creature did this, based on the DNA evidence, is not a typical animal that we'd be looking for. We'd be looking for something else. That's how I'm reading it.
And you wouldn't be placing bear traps out there if you didn't think it was a large animal.
Hell no, and you damn sure wouldn't be tying them to trees if you thought it was a normal animal. You'd be putting a typical spike in the ground like they normally do with a bear trap.
Well, how about this? This is where the whole story takes a twist. This right here is what made me say something's off. Yeah, we're going to have to dig now. This is exactly what caught my attention. Here you go. All of a sudden, we got pathologists, we got medical doctors, we've got police department, we've got game wardens. Everybody said animal. They're setting animal traps out to catch an animal. Everybody is convinced this is an animal, right? So everybody in town starts getting frustrated because the police department is not releasing any information. So everybody's wondering, what the hell's going on, man? They're setting traps everywhere. They're telling us, to watch our children in the mornings and in the evenings. And, people are saying they're hearing these howls. The stuff is trying to tear through this guy's window. And everybody's afraid and scared, which they should be. I agree. I would be afraid too, not knowing what's going on. You have, a small town, somebody's attacked and drug into the woods, and the government's telling you, Oh, well, we're not going to release any information right now, but you need to be careful in the early morning and the late evening and to stay indoors and to keep your windows and doors locked. Okay. Well, last I checked, animals don't open doors and windows. So why do I need to keep them locked, right? So people are getting scared. People are like, okay, we want answers. We want it. So they start pushing really hard. They're like really pushing, like they're going to go to the news, they're going to make this a big spectacle, and they're not going to be able to keep this local, right? It's getting ready to blow up. They can't keep this story contained. So when all this starts happening, hey, Michelle, how are you? What happens is the next time that there's a report on this, the headlines say teenager charged with attempted murder and attack on a girl in Quadville, Ontario.
That's just pure BS. Where the hell are they getting that out on the DNA? That just smells cover up to me, Mike.
So where do we go from? Right, right.
Nothing to see here.
Right. So where do we go from pathologists, doctors, wildlife officers, police officers, first responders, setting traps? They have looked at the child's body, and all of a sudden, now all of a sudden,
I lost you.
shit.
I can hear you now, Mike.
Okay. Now all of a sudden, we've arrested a teenager that done this. So were the traps for the teenager?
And how did that teenager make the wounds on that kid that they're not giving us the rest of the data on?
Oh, don't worry.
Is
They're
he a
going to cover it.
shapeshifter?
Oh, don't worry. They're going to cover it up.
Okay, I saw Lisa saying, unless the teen was a shapeshifter, which, perhaps this is the case. Maybe that's why they arrested the kid. I mean, at least, speculation.
It gets weird. This is where it got really weird. And I could really tell that something's going on here. When they started pushing the police department really hard for information, all of a sudden they came up with an arrest on somebody. Remember, this is a relatively small town. So they come out and they say a 17-year-old has been charged with the attempted murder of the young girl in Quadville, Ontario, that the police initially said was likely caused by an animal. The 8-year-old girl had been missing for hours when she was found around 12:30 a.m. on June 24th, with potentially life-threatening injuries in the woods in the eastern Ontario village. In a news release on Wednesday night, the police department said they had charged a teenage male from eastern Ontario on Tuesday who attempted to take the life of the young girl in the woods. Now, here's where it starts really taking a turn, guys. Y'all are going to really enjoy. I'm not saying enjoy this as in it being good. You're going to enjoy this as in bringing out a possible cover-up into the light. Investigators initially said they suspected the child's injuries were caused by an animal attack because that theory was... This is really strong right here, guys. This is really important, too. Again, I'll reiterate this, too. Investigators initially said they suspected the child's injuries were caused by an animal attack because that theory was supported by multiple medical and pathology experts on Thursday. Now, think about that. They initially believed it was an attack by an animal because multiple medical and pathology experts said it was definitely an animal attack. And now we have a 17-year-old arrested for attempted murder.
How in the hell do we have the kid's name? Oh, he's probably a minor, so they may not use that data. But how in the hell can they link this kid? Do we have a name of the suspect, or is this just a made-up person?
Oh, you're gonna love where this is going. The police told the community members, listen to this on another statement now. Remember, the 17-year-old's arrested, right? We have now solved the case. We have got the person, right? Everybody's supposed to be safe at this point. But then the police come out and they say, don't forget, guys, keep your children indoors and under close supervision. And also said the Ministry of yep. And then the Ministry of Natural Resources put out animal traps again as a precautionary measure in the days after.
Do they think people are stupid?
Right.
I mean, my God, can you imagine being a person living around here? Now, they've arrested kids for the murder. Now, why in the hell are they putting out traps? That doesn't make any damn sense. This sounds literally like an X-Files case. It does.
And you better keep your kids under close supervision and lock your doors and windows, too. But no, don't worry. There's nothing. We took care of it.
But they got the guy locked up. This doesn't make any damn sense.
Right.
Oh, guys, my wife is sitting in here for tonight for her safety. This thing can get a little bit crazy out here when we do want to.
Okay, so they started out in this, guys. They said it was an animal. They continued to say it was an animal. People in camouflage arrived. They set big traps with log chains and special locks. Said it was an animal. People started pushing, wanting answers. And all of a sudden they come up with an arrest. But then they come back and tell everybody, guys, this is where we're at now. You need to keep your kids indoors and under close supervision. Make sure your doors and windows are locked. And we put out more big traps just as a precautionary measure. That is so contradicting and so hypocritical. I mean, if you're arrested a human now and you suspect that a human is what attacked this little girl, and there may be accomplices, we don't know, you're still not going to go set huge traps to catch accomplices that are humans. So, the people in town are saying, why in the hell are they still setting traps if they're thinking this is human? And
I have a question for you, Mike. How many werewolves have you ever heard are Bigfoot being captured by a big trap? I don't think I've heard a story one yet. I think these creatures are probably a lot smarter than that. Right. So why, these creatures, what are they using for bait? These things feed on children. What the hell are they going to bait these traps with? You know they're not going to take somebody and kill them and chop them up. But what are they using for bait? I'd like to know.
I can tell you. They did list that in a later report. The bait that was used was half of goats that were cut in half and hung and suspended over the traps.
Do we have any information if they had any hits on any other traps during this time? Did any of the bait get stolen? That would be a cool report to read, wouldn't it? Number 11, 5, twice last night. Something that kept coming in here and still didn't bait.
And it snapped the log chain that was wrapped around the mighty oak tree.
One moment.
So what are you all thinking right now in chat? Does it sound as dumb as what I'm thinking? Is all along it was an animal? They say they caught the perpetrator but yet they're still telling you to watch your children, and they're going to set some more traps as a precautionary measure. So I mean, it just does not fit. So the people are saying, and I don't blame them. They're saying, okay, guys, we're really scared now. You guys told us it was an animal all along, and to stay indoors to watch our children. Then you said, okay, the town is safe. We caught the guy that done it, but as a precautionary measure, we're going to set some more large traps, and you need to stay in your house, lock your doors and windows, and watch your children under close supervision. So people are like, okay, what's coming out of the wood line that is dragging people to the woods, right? We know it wasn't probably the 17-year-old. So they go back to the police station. People are demanding answers. And I don't blame them. I'd be demanding answers too, especially if I lived in that community and had children or family, right? So here's what the police said in a police to the public. Dixon said, the police will not be sharing any information about the evidence in this case or the weapon that was used allegedly in the attack. That was their statement. So
makes absolutely no sense.
If you look into that and you look into prior cases of attacks to where there was misidentification of people that were attacked and they believe that knives were used because of the size of the claws of this creature. Now, this is pure speculation, entertainment purposes only. But what that led me to believe whenever they said alleged weapon is that the damage to this person that was attacked, this child, was so large that now they're having to try to cover it up by saying, well, this kid attacked her with a weapon because whatever done this to her left large injuries, would be my speculation, my theory.
This, based on the data from the howling and the injuries, this sure sounds like a werewolf attack to me, looking at the data so far.
Right. And, a good question by AI Nanny Pam. She says, question, what happens, while the boy's locked up and there's another attack? That's the thing. When he was locked up, the military was in the woods and there wasn't another attack. So I'm assuming the military took care of this thing. And as we move on, you're going to see something else that's really going to blow your mind in this case, because the people kept saying, hey, we want to be assured that we're going to be safe. We have the right to be safe. So they were just like, can you let us know we're going to be safe? Can you tell us we're going to be safe now? And the police made a report and said, we want the people to rest assured that we do not consider there to be any threat to the public safety at this time, adding that the police will remain in the area on extra patrol for this ongoing investigation. Number one, why are you doubling a police presence in an area, and why are you still investigating it if you have the perpetrator behind bars?
In sharing arms, ask the question, they really arrest someone, or is that made up too?
Well, as we get into that part, I asked that question and I dug, and this is what I came up with. And we're getting ready to go right into that. But Kristen Hutter was a lady that lives in that town. She said, who helped her 3 sons organize a lemonade stand that raised $400 for an 8-year-old girl last week that was attacked, said she hopes the police will provide more clarity on why they initially suspected the animal attack and why families were told to keep their children indoors. She was told to keep her family and children indoors also. So, here's the part that gets weird. The 17-year-old that was arrested for this crime His name or nothing about him will be released to the public because he is a minor. Only people that have had any contact with this individual were the few law enforcement individuals that arrested him and questioned him. Now, there was a whistleblower. Out of the law enforcement individuals that witnessed and interviewed this child, this is what was said. I've lived in this town my whole life. I know pretty much everybody here. This kid that was arrested, I did not recognize him from living in this town, and I did not know his last name, and I ran my own personal checks on him, and nothing came back. When I questioned them about it, I was told the situation is under control. So
What?
after that had happened, the
What
17-year-old was removed from the town to face prosecution for what he had done, but him and the family that was attacked have signed a non-disclosure agreement not to release any information on this case, and the police department will not give out any more information on this case, and everyone should consider themselves safe but still remain vigilant in the neighborhood and keep a close eye on your children as we should at all times.
They used my wife, and I'm paraphrasing. My wife they used the kid. This is my wife saying this, Jamie. They used the kids for a patsy. Yeah, they used the kid to deflect from the truth, to redirect the narrative of the story, trying to put people at ease because they had somebody in custody, and that's gonna usually when people live in an area like that and they hear that the police have arrested a suspect, that's going to put the majority of people at ease. So I would have to agree with her conclusion about the deflection part.
A lot of people in the town are speculating that the kid that was brought in, they said was arrested, was a, what do they call him? Let me look it up real quick. I got it right here. He was a crime scene actor. They believe that they use actors in some of these crime scenes to hush the public.
I never thought about that. You see that? Look in the movie Face Off. If they can do it in a movie, they have the technology to do it in the real world. And I'm just telling you about the movie Face Off because that's going to, just remember the movie Face Off. That's going to come into play later on in the real world. Just remember that movie, guys.
Yeah, I think
for entertainment only.
Yeah, OCST says, or a witness that saw too much.
But they could have very easily unalived that kid. And, you know, we don't really know what happened to the kid. That or they paid him a lot of money.
But Bohica nailed it. He said crisis actors. That's what they are.
Yeah. And they were possibly wearing it in a mask. They weren't even, the face that you saw, that probably wasn't even their real face.
Right. So, Randy, now we can talk about what I know you've been itching to talk about. Let's talk about last night.
Okay. You look over the bridge. The moment you peek over the bridge, the video started to buffer. Just like when you went to go under the bridge. Just when something was about to come into frame, the damn video starts to buffer. Did that happen to anybody else? Did anybody else get to see what Mike saw?
I had
Is there any way to record?
Is there any way to
record video that you're using to go live with? So in case we don't get to see it, you can go back on the camera for that particular timestamp and see what we missed. I don't know if there's a way to do that or not.
I was actually sent a photograph today in my email from a lady. Don't have permission to use her name. And she has a photograph from when I looked over the bridge, and there appears to be a green face looking back at my camera.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you in a little bit. Almost like a
Do you know
troll-looking creature, kind of between a troll and a praying mantis head.
And you forgot to bring your flamethrower that night too, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, that whenever I walked over to that side of the bridge, I could hear right there on the side of the bridge was riffraff. A lot of people don't know what that is. It's big white rocks that they haul in to keep the dirt from washing out in the bridge. I could hear toenails walking on those rocks. And that's why I said, yeah, that's why I said, okay, guys, I'm going to look over this bridge. And Sky, I would love to see those. I was like, I'm going to look over the bridge. I didn't want to. I'm not going to lie, guys. I didn't want to do it. So I walked over to the bridge, and I was like, I'm going to let you guys look first. I'm going to stick the camera over on the pole so y'all can see first. And I stuck the camera over the side of the bridge, and that damn tree went crazy, dude. It started just shaking violently. And I backed up, man, fast. Like I two-stepped real quick. I drew my weapon, and I flipped my weapon off.
When I get the video back, I see you got your weapon out, but I missed the part that you described to me because it just started buffering. It was like, damn.
I did draw my.
I saw that when the video came back on. You have your weapon out, but I missed all that other stuff. Thank you for describing that.
Well, to be honest, whenever that happened, I almost made a I almost I almost put another hole in the guardrail of the bridge that wasn't supposed to be there. So
you got startled or shot at whatever the hell startled them.
So what? So
big
what?
Balls be out there
What?
Really do.
I don't know if they was that big at that moment. That was like a pucker moment, and I was like, okay, whatever this is, in my mind was playing out. I thought something was climbing up that damn tree and was fixing to come over the bridge. And
it was hungry. He wanted Mike for dinner tonight.
Well, the bad thing was
because when all the human body really is just a meat sack to these creatures if they're hungry.
I about filled the sack when it done that. Whenever I thought what was happening at that moment is there's about a 11-foot drop right there at that bridge, and I thought, you know what? Whatever that is pissed off because I haven't left, and I keep shining the lights over the side of the bridge. So I'm probably annoying it, and it finally is just like, I'm tired of this. I'm going to go up there and eat this dude, And I thought when that tree was shaking, that it was like, just like coming up, It
was also like it was something like it did not want you under that bridge. So I wonder, could it have had young ones underneath the bridge, perhaps? And for whatever
Well,
reason, it did not want you to get underneath that bridge.
I about done more
And
than what Michelle McGuire talks about. It would have been more than a fart if that thing would have came over that rail. Because, I mean, that was a moment, man, that I will never forget because I could hear the clicking on the rocks. You know when a cat,
God,
when a cat climbs a tree, you can hear the nails in the tree like the bark. I heard that on that tree, that bush, and
on
I
the
thought
bush.
it
Oh
was,
my!
yeah. That's why I thought it was coming up the bush, and
It
I was
might have
like,
been. It might have been.
well,
Because that
I
thing was
pulled.
shaking because it was on the tree. When you pitch your camera over there and it freaks the hell out. I mean,
The only thing that might have saved me is we speculate that these things are afraid of light. So on my pole that my phone's on, there's a bright light on it that's attached to it. So whenever it was coming up the tree and I put you all over the side of the rail to look down, that light also would have shined right down in its face. And that is how we got that photograph. I think the light is what turned it back because that light would have blinded it.
yeah. Once these creatures get blinded, they're gonna lose their visual sight, and they're not gonna want to stay in that area when they can't see what the hell you're doing normally.
And I'm sure it knew at the time by the sound of my weapon coming out and the safety coming off that it was fixing to eat some lead. And it was
They
and it
know.
was and it was blinded. And it probably thought by as fast as I was running backwards that I was just as scared as it was. So, yeah.
Yeah. Or they were just challenging you to the challenge that they accepted your challenge about King of the Bridge. And I still think I heard something say challenge accepted when you say I'm King of the Bridge. Because it
Well,
seems like the activity up after that.
you remember like a summer ago or 2 summers ago, that's the same bridge that me and Sarah had the encounter with the feral guy at, the feral person that climbed up over the side of that bridge. That's the same bridge.
I mean, what the hell's going on? Well, when you look at that, these creatures, you're finding them in all different locations, and it's just weird. I mean, what all have you seen at the bridge? I think one night you had like a werewolf encounter. I think you had something that was kneeling down below the bridge, and
Yeah,
to
yeah.
me, when that I thought I saw an outline of a wolf's head.
And you could definitely hear the growls, no doubt, that night. Them growls that night were terrifying.
Very pissed off, large wolf creature that didn't want you closer to it.
Oh, I was definitely scared because Sarah had took off, and I knew she had the keys to the car in her pocket, and I did not want to be left down there with watching my taillights drive away with something hunting me in the dark, growling.
I really was like, oh shit moment. Like, what the hell did you do?
Right.
Then you gotta, do I have enough to fight my way to my house? Probably not.
I did not have enough magazines on me that night to be left down there in the dark. I did not feel safe, not even with my K-bar knife. But yeah.
And Nancy 67 just brought up a good point. If you could read that person's comment.
Let's see
Nancy
if I can catch it real quick. Nancy. There we go. That one right there.
Has anyone else?
Hey, what's up, K-Dog? Has anyone else noticed that when we hear an EVP, Mike will see or hear something at the same time? Not every time, but a lot of the times. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't go back and watch all my videos, and I'm not trying to sound like I'm too busy, but every day I'm planning something for the show, either booking somebody or looking into something. I don't have time. I don't, and plus I don't like to watch myself. I do get clips sent to me by like the moderators send stuff to me, and they're like, look at this, look at this. I count on the moderators a lot. They send me a lot of the important things, and you know the red light. Whenever we do the red light, okay, we've been doing like the red light, and whenever we do the red light, it almost seems like it loves to come up close to that red light. uh, I wonder sometimes, and I don't know, do you think it's possible that they don't see the red light? Or is it that the red light is not as big of a circle? And Amanda, I saw your comment that you said you still wanted to go. You may not after you go out with me out there, but I mean, I've had
Better be.
I took a
You
guy
better
down
be
there with
sure.
me. I took a dude down there with me one time. He was in the military. He wanted to go, and I took him down there, and he started screaming, running backwards. Something crawled out from underneath the barbed wire fence and was trying to grab his feet. And he started screaming and shooting his gun up in the air. And whenever we got back to my truck, he outran me all the way to the truck. When I got back to the truck, he was standing there, and I swear to God, he had pissed all over the front of his pants. And he said he was never, ever going back there again. So, I mean, this is a grown man standing there in his fatigues that were soaked plumb down to his combat boots. And he
Now,
said,
Amanda,
I'm not doing this.
you better be sure, hon, that you can handle one of these things up close. They're not furry and fuzzy little things that you can curl up with and hold. One up
they,
close.
they
Yeah,
might make you curl up with them.
yeah, but you can't feed this one to the damn critters, Mike. You got to keep somebody there to help you out.
One thing I seen the other night, and I want to know if you noticed this. I want to tell y'all, besides about having a bowel movement on the bridge, whenever that thing came up that tree, uh, the thing that scared me the most, besides that, was that white thing that floated across the road. That really bothered me.
Yeah, I didn't get a good look at that. It was buffering when you went to show us that. Again, every time something about comes into the frame, the damn thing starts to buffer. If you could get somebody to send you a picture of that, I'd like to see whatever the hell it was. I saw a white
Well,
thing, and then the screen started to buffer.
let me tell you this. So tell me if this makes sense to you, and see if this makes you think about something. The reason that bothered me, not only because of
The reason why that
the
bothers.
the fact that it floated across the sky, which is not normal. The other part, it's funny that I'm home now and can talk because I made it home. But the other thing that I thought about was, you remember the other night. You remember the other night whenever I saw the white thing in the tree that everybody thought was a white owl.
Yeah.
This thing looked just like that floated across the road. And I'm where I was at. I'm about half a mile from the place that everybody thought that I saw the owl at. So that very well could have been that same white thing that I saw at that other place, because a half a mile is no distance, and it's on the same creek also. That is the same waterway.
Yeah, Amanda, if you ever go, like AI Nanny Pam pointed out, they love women. When Sarah, Mike's sister, went with her, these creatures would just go crazy. And we got tons of EVPs, especially after she quit going. The EVPs would be asking, "Where's Sarah? Where's Sarah?" And then Mike one night went out there and exactly Sarah was going to come out later. And when they found out that Sarah wasn't going to be there, shit got real, didn't it, Mike? They weren't
And then they
happy.
started, and then they even nicknamed Sarah Mama.
Mom, yeah, Mama or Mommy.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think she could hear him calling her Mommy, didn't she? Didn't she hear that?
That's the weird thing. I don't hear the EVPs, but Sarah can hear them. And another thing that's
Yeah.
weird. Remember that night when I went down there and Sarah saw the lady walking in the woods and I couldn't see her? Sarah could see her, but when we took the photograph on the IR, she was there.
Mm-hmm.
So
That was the one
really,
where they were free. That picture where
right.
that you could kind of see through it.
So that's really weird that she's able to
I remember
that she can see and hear it and I can't. I mean, I've always knew Sarah was special, but I didn't know how she was able to do that, but she could. Maybe I need to take her back down there and tie her to a tree with a log chain and a special lock and see what she can see.
On why women are more sensitive, because number one, women are more sensitive to the supernatural, I believe. The number one, a woman is carrying in their womb, that's a portal. So, that might be perhaps why these things are attracted to women, because of their supernatural ability to bring life into this earth. Could that be a reason why they're attracted to women? Because of that, just looking at the data here.
Well, they also say that women are more emotional and more attached to their feelings than a man is. A man is supposed to be more rational, to where a woman is more emotional.
Correct.
So, to where when I got a ghost or something,
we're going by our emotions like the women are.
Right.
So men and women are wired different. Thank God.
Oh yeah, and I think maybe they have the ability to allow people to see them and not see them. Maybe they wanted Sarah to see them that night for some reason. I don't know.
Are some people able to see into the supernatural realm and others cannot? I would say yes. Some people are more.
Yeah.
They have abilities to see into the supernatural realm.
Oh yeah. And when I was down there, I did hear something yell at me to go. That was kind of freaky. Something yelled "go," and I wasn't comfortable with that. I mean,
how about that one? Your boots on the ground. That sounded like a mountain lion roaring right there behind that tree. And you kept trying to go over there to that spot. And whatever it was, it didn't want to give it up.
Right. Well, I'm not going to say her name. I don't have permission to use her name, but there was a lady recently that asked me if I would take her out, on a boots on the ground. She wants to have an encounter or experience some vocals or something. And I ask questions before I take anybody with me. And she was not a Christian. And I'm not knocking anybody for not being Christian, but as far as me, I told her that I would not take her because I could not guarantee her safety. Because I believe that if she goes out there, she doesn't have that protection. That's just my belief. I don't push it on anybody. She wants to go by herself, she's more than welcome. But I don't want to take her not being able to at least guarantee that, I could do something to try to help her if something happened. Because if I took her down there and she was to become possessed or something like that, and, I would feel terrible for that.
Because people who aren't protected are being saved by Jesus Christ. can be possessed by demons and other supernatural entities hanging out at these places. Our things can attach to you and follow you home, and that wouldn't be good either.
No, no,
But if you look into it, I've look at people who studies the Bigfoot and werewolves. They've all had some kind of encounter with this other supernatural paranormal stuff that seems to be attached with it.
25%, they say.
I wasn't looking for werewolves. I wasn't looking for supernatural crap, but I encountered it, and
Right.
I can't unsee this stuff. What I'm trying to do is try to get people to understand that these creatures that we're talking about, they're real. They're not imaginary. Werewolves exist. And if werewolves exist, they're supposed to be a legendary creature. If one legendary creature exists, I would have to say, looking at the data, that they all do.
Absolutely, I agree too. Another thing too is she wanted to try to have a communication with one. I'm not going to take her to one of my secret spots, allow her to be unsaved, and then to open herself up to communicate with them. That's just, to me, a bad recipe.
I remember on one of your boots on the ground that you had Sarah with you, and Sarah asked one of this thing to show itself, and the creature actually stood up, and we could see the eyes raised low to us. It literally, was like, okay, you want me to show yourself? It actually did. So we do know that.
Yeah, because she told it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, she told it. She said, "Show yourself and stand up," and it did.
And it did exactly what she asked it to. And was this before, or did it start? I don't remember until that point. That then it seems like after this particular incident, this is when the mommy started. These things started calling her mommy after that.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, and if you noticed last night when I was walking on that bridge, another thing that had me jumpy, could you hear how loud those tree breaks were? And then after the tree breaks, could you hear it was actually throwing those big limbs up by the bridge at me? That was the big limbs hitting that riprap rock. Whatever was snapping those large, they were this big around, logs, I guess. They were chunking them up there at me, hitting the rocks. That's what them loud bangs were. And that's whenever my mom started texting me saying, "You need to get out of there. It's not safe. They don't want you there."
Were the rocks hitting the guardrail? Is that what I was? Because you could hear the guardrail getting whacked. So when you would look around, you would.
It wasn't rocks. Something was reaching up from under the bridge, slapping the guardrail.
Oh my God, dude! What kind of an arm would it take to reach from underneath the arm to reach up and hit it?
I think it crawled up that. I think it crawled up that tree.
Hey, maybe you need to go chop that tree down.
You want me to make you a candle out of it?
Chop it down off, and then go out there that night and do an investigation. Because then they can't climb up the damn tree if you chop it down. They want to screw with you, screw them back. They accepted the bridge. I think I'd go there and make a claim, but I wouldn't go alone. It really pissed them off. It really pissed them off. Set you up a tent near that bridge and say, "Hey, I want to camp here tonight. This is my bridge," and kick you from deer stakes, man. Have fun with it.
I don't know, Randy, if I could stay in a tent. You know what? I think I would have to have like a camper. I don't know. I don't know if I could stay in a tent there. I don't know, man. That'd be hard to do.
Not staying. Just tent up to see if it pisses them off and maybe get some more action, because if you're in their home, they're not going to want you to be staying there. I'm not saying you get in the tent, but you just set the tent up as a prop to see if you get in. This is just something that you might want to try to do. You're trying to get more interaction go into their home and set up a tent and say, "This is my home." But I would not recommend doing that, Mike. That can be very dangerous. Like the
Everybody,
information I took
everybody
is
wants me
dangerous.
to go down there in the daytime and show y'all what it looks like in the daytime. Everybody's asking me to do that. So if I was to go down there in the daytime, would y'all want me to do a live walk around down there? Is that something that y'all be interested in?
1 for yes, 2 for no. Sound off in chat, please. And we're going to
I
get the
want,
crowd involved
yeah,
here.
and I want your opinion, even the chat and yours, Randy, because it did bother me so much. What do you think that white thing was? I mean, that really bothered me.
Do you have a picture of it? Because, like I said, it was buffering. I couldn't see what the hell it was. Could
Not
you see a
unless
body?
it
Did
look
it look
okay. I'll
like
tell
it
you
was
what.
something?
It looks like the abdomen top part of like a man, but when it goes like across, when it moves, it kind of moves like a flag, like it ripples as it's moving.
Was it like a mist form, or was it a solid form, or could you see through it?
I couldn't see through it.
It was like that of a flag, a white flag-shaped object.
Yeah, it kind of had like a wave to it as it moved, kind of like a wave.
Okay. I would just have to chalk that up as supernatural paranormal. I mean, what else are you going to do with that?
So if you go down there and you stay in a tent and you decide to camp there, that thing could like float right up to your tent, and you got like what, an eighth of an inch between you and it of plastic, 16th of an inch.
I'm not saying you have to get in the tent, Mike. I'm just saying you set the tent as a prop to try to
Right.
piss them off more accurately. I wouldn't recommend anybody doing this. But if you're wanting to capture more interaction with these creatures, this is something that you could do. I'm sure you can buy one of these little small tents that just, something easily that you're actually not gonna use it. It's just there for a prop.
Right. So,
If
how
you
much would it
try
take?
to get,
What if you went down there and really decided to, when the water level's back to normal, when the flood is gone, how much would it take for you to go underneath that bridge and the little bitty sand pile that's under there, because there's a sand dune, and to put a pop-up tent there and to actually sleep in that thing under that bridge?
how about you go and you set that tent up in the daylight before dark and set up if you could put a game camera on a tree somewhere, monitoring the tent and see if anything messes with it before you get there to do your night boots on the ground. I'm just trying to come up with something. Or maybe not set a camera there, but a little cheap tent that you can just prop up for a single person. And just, if you want to see if it's going to get you more attention, that could be highly dangerous too. Because you're
Oh
going into
yeah.
their home and now you're going to set up a tent. I'm sure you might get some more action, perhaps. And if you really wanted to get some action, climb into that tent, you know they're going to get really close to you.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I can picture being asleep in that tent and something just grabbing it and just shaking it while you're in it. You know how
I
bad that
think
would scare somebody? You know how many holes?
and drag you along to where you want to take you, That'd be a
You know
hell
how
of a
many?
rough ride, except rocks.
You know how many holes? You know how many holes would be in that tent?
I would definitely have the AK. I'd like to have the AK on top as I'm dozing off, just in case. I would not sleep in a sleeping bag. Sleeping in a sleeping bag in a situation like that, I wouldn't climb inside. I might sleep on top of it, but I wouldn't climb inside of it. in this situation.
I mean, can you imagine
That
you're
one
laying in a tent down there by yourself? It's dark and you're hearing like all these voices out there telling you to go, and you're laying there and you're too afraid to get out and walk to your car now because the stuff's all
and
around you.
a hand comes underneath the tent from underneath and trying to grab you. Can you imagine that shit? I mean, I'd be ready to leave at that point.
That
like
would be
that one guy.
Yeah, that'd be one dull machete at that point.
I'd be trying to shoot or chop it off. You're not grabbing me, buddy.
No. And could you imagine you're laying there and it's, you know how quiet it was down there, and all of a sudden you hear like the zipper, bzzz, something open in your tent.
Well, imagine this. You're laying in your tent and suddenly you start hearing something cutting the plastic. You know, where a werewolf can just take one of their little long claws and just, you know, kind of like do something like the Terminator, that liquid Terminator. You know, he could do something kind of like he did with his finger. He could just easily cut that little material with like a hot knife through butter. I mean,
oh yeah,
that wouldn't be.
Or
I
think what would be.
Imagine if they just took one of their claws and just started poking through the tent, just screwing with you. I mean, you could probably shoot them, but that would suck if they started trying to get you inside the tent.
I couldn't do it. No, I don't think I could do that. And I think what would be scarier than that, imagine laying there and one of them grab that tent and wrap you up in it and start dragging you down the creek. Because you're going to be wrapped up so tight, you're not going to be able to do anything but just lay there and get drugged.
Well, that's why you want to make sure you have a knife on you. Like have a knife strapped to your leg when you're sleeping so you could easily grab that and cut yourself out of the tent.
I mean, they could wrap you up in that tent, and if you think about it, what's scary, this is scary as hell to me, they could wrap you up in that tent and throw you in that creek, and you're going to drown wrapped up in that tent sinking.
Yeah, and they just say it's an accident, you know, a freak windstorm or something, you know.
Guy must have freaked out during the night and drowned himself inside his tent. Everybody'd be laughing at you. You know, he went down there and scared himself to death and drowned. You know.
Well, how about how many times have we heard people coming up and missing parts, and they try to tell us that, oh, he probably fell down some mine shaft somewhere and they'll never find his body.
Right.
Maybe that's happened occasionally, but that can't explain all the missing people coming up missing just in the United States alone every year in parks. And that'd be cool if we could get all that data. But I remember David Quadeville was talking. They wanted this one national park wanted over an X amount of millions of dollars for like $1.4 million for the list. That just goes with cover up to me. And again, this is for entertainment purposes only.
Oh yeah. Tomorrow, I'll be boots on the ground for everybody in chat right now for members only. We're doing a members only boots on the ground tomorrow night at 9:15 p.m. So if you are a member, you'll be able to access the live tomorrow night at 9:15 p.m. I'm doing that as an appreciation to all the members. I will do a short tomorrow to remind everybody. But yes, it will be tomorrow at 9:15. The thumbnail is already out. You can go say hello in the live chat right now if you're a member. So I look forward to sharing some time with the members tomorrow night on a boots on the ground. Yeah, Randy, I ain't got much more for tonight. We've been over 2 hours, and your wife is probably really wanting some attention. I know y'all had plans tonight, and I really don't want her to come hunt me down because that would probably be worse than a werewolf.
Anytime you need help, Mike, I don't mind helping you. And you know, I'll make it up to you.
Make sure that you you make it up
like
to
I said,
times 2.
She's sitting in here with me for her protection during these shows. Because if she's in another house, we've had things come up and they'll like tap on the wall where she's at to let her know that hey, we're here. And you're just sadistic, evil little bastards.
They're just letting you know.
Yeah, they're like children, you know, sinister kids. They have a sense of humor. It might be warped.
Right.
Well, I had one scare the crap out of me, came and howled at me through the air conditioner one night. I about jumped out of my chair. I shit you not. It did like a low howl at me through the air conditioner. And I about skin. Then it starts laughing at me. I hear it chuckling. I hear it chuckling. I scared the crap out of it. They have a sense of humor. They really do.
Oh yeah, they love to scare you. I think that they get energy from it. What is Satan? He's fear. What are they creating?
Exactly.
Fear.
Tell him, tell Mike, my boss,
Everybody, we want to thank you for joining in, and tuning in, and supporting the Abnormal Investigation channel. Tune in tomorrow night at 9:15 for another episode of Date Night with Mike. We hope he survives and he doesn't with an Oklahoma Scooby snack.
I hope not. Guys, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all for showing up, supporting me. Tomorrow night, like I said, as an appreciation night to the members, we're going to be doing a boots on the ground just for the members. Also, members, I'm working on trying to do 2 boots on the ground a month for just the members to show appreciation, because you all do, y'all are paying for extra, footage. So we're working on that, and we may even do a second tier coming up with even more in-depth stuff. And I'm working on the book. My mom's helping me. She's going to be helping me with the book. So the book should be ready, getting close. We want to get it right when we get it out. So, and I'm actually writing my own book. So it should be a really good, I think it's going to be a really good look at what we went through, more of what my mom and them went through. And I'm thinking I may do a second book on what I experienced, you know what I mean? And my cousins, kind of like what my mom and them went through, and then kind of what I got to experience, and what I lived through. But guys, I want to thank each and every one of you for showing up tonight. It means a lot to us, and you all are great. Our outdoor channel, we love our outdoor channel. We're going to have T-Carp coming on the outdoor channel, and we're going to have Tennessee, Kentucky coming on the outdoor channel. And we got a lot of stuff planned coming up over there. And we got T-Carp going to be on the Patreon coming up on this channel. We're going to be talking about weaponized weather. We're going to be going way down the rabbit hole. I'm sure Randy will be ready for that one. And I think it's going to be a really good Patreon, because Patreon, we can go deep down that rabbit hole and not have to worry about so much about getting in trouble. Randy, that's all I got to say, man. Is there anything else you want to add to it?
I'd just like to once again thank you, all of you subscribers. Thank you to the members. Thank you, moderators. We couldn't have a show if it wasn't for everybody who's watching and helping out. I'd like to thank each and every one of you personally for supporting this channel and helping Mike out. We just give God the grace and the praise and glory for him returning Hunter to Mike as soon as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless each and every one of you. God bless your family. And God bless America. And I'm going to turn this back over to Mike. And good night, you guys.
I couldn't have said it any better, Randy. With that, I'm going to tell everybody good night, God bless, and we'll see you tomorrow night at 9:15. Thank you for everything you do.